Hello everyone! Video game release season is just heating up. In this video, we're taking a closer look at what early fall 2025 has lined up. We'll break down release dates, platforms, and gameplay details so you know exactly what to keep an eye on this October.
The year is 3/4 finished, but video game release season is only getting started, so here are 2025's biggest game releases still to Skate hits early access, and in case you haven't been keeping track, this is the long-awaited new installment in EA's beloved open-world skateboarding series, which is now live service and free-to-play, and as icky as that sounds, everything else I've heard about this game is kinda great. I'm told it plays like a cross between Spider-Man and Forza Horizon, except with skateboards. Also, it takes place in a fictional city called San Vansterdam that I'm guessing is a cross between San Francisco, Vancouver, and Amsterdam, which I'm guessing is 720 and 420 friendly. Sounds lit, fellow kids. You can blaze some pop shove-its and dank fakies on PC, all the PlayStations, and all the Xboxes currently on the market. If you'd prefer an open-world game with lots of acrobatics where everyone is considerably less chill and probably trying to eat your face, Dying Light the Beast hits PC, PS5, and Xbox Series on the 19th, which turns you loose in a zombie apocalypse that you can traverse with the series' trademark freestyle walking, or as the French like to call it, le parkour. If you just want some effing peace and quiet, well, there's also Silent Hill F. Though I have a hunch that between the somber and suspenseful stretches, you will inevitably encounter some horrible things making loud noises, which you may respond to by making some loud noises yourself. What the F is the F for? You can F out for yourself on Xbox Series F and F, PF5, and PF on the 25th. And critically acclaimed 1997 turn-based strategy spin-off of the beloved JRPG series with some modern HD graphics, quality of life improvements, and full voice acting. That's on everything except Xbox digitally if you so desire. A day later, you can do the Monster Mash.
He did the Monster Mash.
With some monsters of a digital variety in Digimon Story Time Stranger. This is the first installment in the RPG sub-series in 8 years, which promises an epic story, plenty of creatures to train, and it's rated T for teen because it features a wine-drunk Digimon named Baka. Games that already came to other platforms, but we're gonna make an exception for Borderlands 4. By the time this video is up, that is probably out for PC, Xbox Series, and PS5, and October 3rd, you can grab it for Nintendo Switch 2 as well. On October 10th, an appropriately creepy game drops in time for Halloween, the long-awaited Little Nightmares 3. This latest installment in the puzzle platformer should have plenty of tricks, treats, and pint-sized frights as it's developed by Supermassive Games, a studio with plenty of experience doing big kid horror in the Until Dawn and Dark Pictures series. That's coming to basically everything. I know I just said no re-releases.
You can't keep getting away with it!
But if you slept on the original Little Nightmares, that's getting an enhanced edition that same day as well for Xbox Series, PS5, Switch 2, and PC. October 10th is also the release of a twee offbeat indie game you might have heard some early buzz about. It's called Battlefield 6, and it follows 4 estranged childhood friends as they team up to renovate a funky old apartment building and learn some valuable lessons about teamwork, personal responsibility, and drywall along the way. Maybe that balances it out. If you prefer tyrannosaurs and pterodactyls to tyrannotars and aerodactyls, you can train some terrible lizards in Jurassic World Evolution 3, the latest entry in the simulation series from the folks behind Planet Coaster and Zoo Tycoon. Clearly, this is found an audience if it's already getting a 3rd installment, but there's something extremely funny to me that a movie franchise about disastrous theme park management and science gone awry has been successfully adapted into a game where you keep a dinosaur theme park running smooth. If you wish I'd cut the crap and get through these game releases a little faster, well, you can cut through lots of crap extremely fast in Ninja Gaiden 4. Team Ninja and Platinum Games have gotten the gang back together for the first mainline installment in 13 years, which is shaping up to be true to form with lots of slicing, dicing, boss fights, blood splatter, and a dash of jiggle physics, which is bound to resonate with everyone's inner 12-year-old who wasn't even born when Ninja Gaiden 3 came out. That's on Xbox Series, PS5, and PC. If you've got a different kind of bloodlust, specifically a Vampire the Masquerade bloodlust, well, long-awaited follow-up to the PS2-era action RPG set in the World of Darkness is finally here, and man, I'm excited that it's finally coming out. Not so much because I'm a fan of the series, but because I'm a fan of not having to find new ways of talking about this game in these upcoming release videos, which I've had to do quite a few times in the last decade. This was originally slated for a March 2020 release before getting delayed to 2021, almost canceled, taken over by a new developer, given a new tentative release window, and then subsequently delayed several more times. Anyway, I hope it actually comes out this time, and I hope it's worth the wait for Vampire fans. That's on PS5, Xbox Series. On October 29th, you can indulge your inner space cadet in The Outer Worlds 2, which expands Obsidian's wacky sci-fi RPG universe and promises to give players even weirder outcomes for their worst decisions. For instance, if you make your character stare at the sun too much, you unlock a perk, sort of, that permanently distorts your vision in-game, but it will regenerate health while you're exposed to sunlight. Again, staring at the sun isn't a thing most people go out of their way to do in video games or otherwise, so I'm curious to see what other odd behavior this game rewards with quirky mechanics. That's on Xbox Series, PS5, and PC. On October 30th, Arc Raiders finally drops. This is a multiplayer extraction shooter from Embark Studios, the team behind the finals, which includes a bunch of ex-Battlefield folks. After a few early tech tests and public beta type events, there's quite a lot of positive buzz about Arc Raiders. It's a retro-futuristic, post-apocalyptic wasteland that's being terrorized by AI-controlled machines of various sizes called Arc, and it's up to players to raid them while avoiding other players who have the same objective and will therefore probably try to shoot you in the Switches and PC. Finally in October, Terminator 2 gets a brand new retro-styled video game with Terminator 2D No Fate, which reimagines the 1991 action movie as an arcadey side-scroller experience that looks like it actually came out in 1991 as well world history. On November 13th, Anno 117 Pax Romana roams on the PC, PS5, and Xbox Series, expanding Ubisoft's real-time strategy empire into the golden age of ancient Rome, letting you civically engineer coliseums, public forums, vomitoriums, and Olive Gardens. On November 15th, Where Winds Meet finally makes its way to the West. This is yet another big, epic action RPG rooted in Chinese mythology, but it's doing a couple things to set itself apart. It's focusing on wuxia, the subgenre of martial arts films that feature people with even more supernatural abilities than your usual martial arts films, such as Ang Lee's Academy Award-winning Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. One of the worst things about that movie, which is otherwise very good, is that it is devoid of actual tigers or dragons, presumably because they're crouching and hidden, but Where Winds Meet looks to feature a bunch of silly animal stuff. Can you suplex a bear? I think so! Also, it is a 150-hour single-player RPG that's somehow free to play with cosmetic in-game purchases only, and it's got cross-progression between PS5, PC, and mobile. I don't know, I'll check it out. On November 18th, Marvel's Deadpool VR hits MetaQuest 3 and 3S, and you might say to yourself, well, obviously it's Marvel's Deadpool. What other Deadpool is there? And the actual answer to that is the 1988 film, The Deadpool, which predates Deadpool's first appearance in New Mutants number 98 by about a year and a half. It was the final entry in the Dirty Harry franchise, and that really doesn't have anything to do with much of this, but Deadpool VR is here to make your day, and don't you feel lucky, punk? This one's developed by Twisted Pixel, a studio with plenty of experience in the VR space, and with making games featuring smartass protagonists and offbeat superheroes such as Loco Cycle and Comic Jumper, so Deadpool seems like a pretty good fit. Play. If you want a normal racing game about regular cars not being driven by rotund pink cannibals, less than a week later you're in luck because Project Motor Racing comes to PC, Xbox Series, and PS5 on the 25th. This is a spiritual successor to the Project Cars games from some of the same devs who got shuffled around amidst EA's acquisition of their former parent company Codemasters, but most importantly, look at those cars! Vroom, 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 cars. Great job.